Before I get started, I would like to invite the newly elected board members to join me here. Sister Irma, can you please come here? And have Brother Nasser. And Brother Riyadh. Can everybody settle down, inshallah? And can we get that ladies' door to be closed so we don't hear the sound? Auzu billahi minash shaitani rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful. فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ أَنِّي لا أُزِيُّ عَمَلَ عَامِلٍ مِنْكُمْ مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى بَعْضُكُمْ مِنْ بَعْضٍ. This is the ayah number 195 of Surah 3, in which, and their Lord responded to them, never will I allow to be lost the work of any worker among you, whether male or female, you are of one another. First and foremost, I want to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have blessed our community with an institution that has made all our lives better. MAPS has made all of us better Muslims, better parents, better children, better neighbors, better citizens, and better humans. We regularly hear from others across the country telling us how they would like their community to be like our community. For this, I sincerely thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing all of us. This year is the 10th year anniversary of our organization. In a short decade, we have made tremendous progress together and we have become a model for other Muslim communities. I want to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for providing us with this opportunity to serve Him in whatever little way we can, in whatever capacity we can. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless us, continue to help us, and continue to keep us together purely on His path, a path which He loves, and a path which will ultimately take all of us to the highest place in Jannah. Ameen. My dear brothers and sisters, it's a true honor to be a part of this community and to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and MAPS. Since the inception of MAPS in 2006, all of you, those who are present here today and those who are not, have been instrumental in establishing this institution on the solid foundations of the Holy Quran and our beloved Prophet Sunnah. You have created an institution which is inclusive to all, irrespective of the members' country of origin, race, ethnic background, madhab, age, gender, educational level, income level, professional level, etc. The sacred bond that is holding us together is the bond of inclusivity, moderation, and togetherness. The importance of this bond is mentioned again and again in the Quran and Sunnah. In his last sermon, the Prophet, peace be upon him, reminded us, learn that every Muslim is a brother to every Muslim, and that the Muslim constitute one brotherhood. This sense of inclusiveness is fundamental to our vision. You all have contributed to making MAPS a warm and welcoming place for each other and our families, and I also want to thank you for that. Your commitment to our extraordinary vision and values has been central to making this a thriving and welcoming place. I'd like to take this opportunity to highlight just two of those values today. First, our steadfast adherence to our beloved Prophet's teaching to us that men and women are equal. For some of us, our cultural background can hold us back from living up to this teaching. But I'm proud, and you all should be, that by the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are held as an example of how well we do in this regard. I'm sure there are areas where we have to improve on, but in many places, we are leading this particular area. I still occasionally hear from men talking about treating women as equals or giving them equal status. I would like to point out that we don't give them equal status. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has made men and women equal. Our job is only to understand and honor this teaching from the Quran and the Sunnah of our beloved Prophet. We only need to internalize this lesson and honor and respect Allah's guidance on the equality of men and women. Thank you for doing your part, and please continue to do that in MAPS. Open, transparent, and mutually respectful dialogue is essential to a harmonious community. Let us preserve that. Your presence here is a proof that you find this to be a more welcoming place and more to your liking than the other places. Treat this like a family. Contribute towards choosing the direction, activities, and initiatives. Enjoy the activities and the works that are to your liking. Skip the ones that don't align with your interest or passion. No need to oppose or resent activities you don't consider valuable. Remember that we only do things that there is a lot of demand for and is aligned with our mission and with Quran and Sunnah. Last week, we held our annual election to choose people from the community to serve on the board. Let me thank you all and thank the community for coming out and voting. Voting is an act that demonstrates that you care about your masjid and for how it is run. It's also a demonstration of a process that is fair, that is equitable, and that works. Secondly, thank you for voting the community members that are present in front of you today. We are truly humbled to have earned your trust and your confidence once more to run this organization for the sole pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to take this community forward on a path that is loved by Him. Thirdly, I would like to thank Brother Ashraf, who ran for this election along with us. Brother Ashraf is an active and dedicated member of our community. We no doubt will benefit from his assistance and his ideas. We will reach out to him to leverage his strengths to build our institution together. And lastly, we offer our sincere thanks to the election committee who put in many hours these past weeks and ran an impartial and efficient election. So let's take a moment to understand what does your vote mean for us. Voting for us means that you have put your trust in us to execute on our vision. You can see our vision at the back of me and you can internalize this. This trust is the amana of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we will try our best to hold true. By re-electing existing members, you have made a loud and clear statement that you are satisfied with the vision we have laid out, with the progress we have made so far, with the results we have delivered, and with the plans we intend to execute next. By giving your trust, you have given our decisions and actions at MAPS a vote of confidence. By no means are we doing everything perfectly. However, we take your trust very seriously. We always try our best for MAPS and for our community, and we are very aware that one day we'll have to answer on this trust in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are all here to serve Him and to seek His acceptance. Leading the masjid is a process of continuous improvement. In this context, we count on you to provide us with constructive feedback as you have done in the past. With your feedback, we can further enhance our impact together, rowing the boat of MAPS to its destination in unity. So what can you expect from us? You can expect that in our next term, we will double down on the approaches we have taken so far and accelerate the progress we have made together. We'll keep our vision front and center in all that we do. We'll use our 4 cornerstones, as you can see behind me, as guideposts in planning our programs, events, and investment. We'll remain a very balanced community, open to all. We will emphasize a moderate and middle-of-the-road mindset, solely because we believe firmly that this is the way of our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him. Let's briefly reflect on what we have achieved. On our faith cornerstone today, we have more religious programs than ever. Every day there is one or more halakha. At any time when the masjid is open, somebody is here teaching and learning about Islam. On a Friday night like tonight, there are usually 3 to 4 programs on Islam going on in parallel. Teaching kids, teaching adults, teaching new Muslims. Throughout the week, Imam Juban offers many classes to several age groups. We have hired Sheikh Kyle and Sheikh Hassan to expand on these religious programs. We offer classes on Tajweed, on Arabic, on the Quran, on Hifz, on Hadith, on Akhlaq, etc. Our Ar-Rahma Academy teaches kids Islam during the day and in the afternoon. Our Noor Academy teaches kids Islam on the weekends. Our Precious Hearts Academy introduces our very young to the skills of life in an Islamic context and environment. We take this pillar very seriously. In addition, we fly in national scholars every month to come and rejuvenate our faith. In the past months, we have received Sheikh Noman Ali Khan, Sheikh Yasir Khadi, Imam Aziz, Imam Siraj Wahaj, Imam Abdul Malik Mujahid, and many more. In December, we'll be receiving the past president of ISNA, Imam Majid. On our outbound good cornerstone, on any given week, MAPS volunteers host free health clinics, operate dental vans, donate blood, feed the homeless, work with the tent cities, distribute blankets, prepare school meals, teach the young comfort, the elderly, visit the sick, clean roadways, repair trails and parks. On our inbound good cornerstone, we bring in programs to enrich ourselves. Right now, we just saw a financial and legal experts teaching our community about wills and estate planning. On our model citizen cornerstone, we encourage an identity that is proudly Muslim and proudly American. 2 weeks ago, we worked very closely with CARE to host the first ever televised electoral debate at a Muslim institution. That video has been viewed by over 50,000 times. This was the first ever program that is held in mosque in Washington. All of this was possible because of your unwavering support and your cooperation in making MAPS the place that you see as it is today. You will see us emphasize and expand these cornerstones in the coming weeks and months, inshallah. We will comprehensively develop this approach to our deen, always following the Quran and Sunnah and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His blessings and guidance in our journey. So what does it mean to serve on the MAPS board? Let me remind myself and remind the elected board members here as well as the sitting board members what it means to serve on the board. A board position is not an entitlement. It's a serious responsibility. To serve on the board requires a set of characters and behaviors. Since the inception of MAPS, we had defined respect, humility, sincerity, integrity, transparency, and forward-looking as the characters that we'll aspire for and abide by. Hence, we require our board members to demonstrate respect, have humility, be sincere in their hearts, show the highest level of integrity, remain transparent, and have the ability to be forward-looking and future-driven. Regarding the behaviors expected of the board members, first, the board member needs selfless and passionate commitment to the vision of MAPS. He needs to firmly believe that our institution can create deep positive impacts around us by living our lives according to Quran and Sunnah. He needs to have an unwavering commitment to the cause of MAPS. He needs to know what constitutes the MAPS soul, and he needs to push himself to accomplish what MAPS is trying to aspire. Next, the board member needs to roll up the sleeves and work to realize the vision. Ideas are good, but not sufficient. Our board is a working board. It's not simply an oversight board. A board member needs to lead communities, plan events, attend functions, participate in activities. They need to make visible and impactful contributions to MAPS towards achieving its goal. Third, the board member needs to dedicate enormous amount of time in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all have our daily jobs and busy schedules. By taking this responsibility, however, the member is committing his or her time to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is like a second job, more demanding than the first one, and he or she needs to be available as and when needed. Fourthly, the board member needs to have lots and lots of patience. We are a big organization with many challenges. A board member needs to have the composure of mind and the discipline of action to reflect on and to address these challenges. He or she cannot react emotionally to the issues. He or she needs to look at problems comprehensively, take time, reflect, and work with the other board members towards a solution that is within our bylaws and in line with our vision. By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the board members that you have elected, Sister Imma, Brother Nasser, and Brother Riyadh, are the embodiments of these characters and behaviors, not only when they were in the board, but much before that, through their volunteer work and through their unwavering commitment to MAPS. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide all of us with courage and conviction to serve Him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all that they have done for MAPS since before joining the board, while on the board, and in future, whether they are there in the board or not, and reward them multifold in this life and the hereafter. For those who aspire to be on the board and aspire to lead and make a difference, I suggest that we start with volunteering towards the cornerstones of MAPS. Be a part of volunteer committees, show up for our programs and events, pitch in and start creating an impact. Volunteering is a good training to serve on the board. In addition, read our messages carefully, look at our comprehensive set of programs, you will quickly understand that what it takes to make an impact, the commitment it requires, the patience it needs. Also talk to a few ex-board members who have been there to understand what it takes to shoulder this responsibility. We need all of you. We need each and every member of our community, irrespective of their background. There are many opportunities to drive your passion areas at MAPS. And you have seen many examples in MAPS of the programs that are purely managed and run by pure volunteers who are not in the board. One good example is MAPS MCRC, which is run by over 100 volunteers, creating the most significant impact in our community without actually being in the board, with the help and support of the MAPS board that it provides. As a board, we represent a diverse community of 5,000 families from over 40 countries. We are very diverse in origins, in languages, in cultures, in education, in professions, in experiences, in practice of our faith, and in our ideologies. That's all fine, as long as you're all bound by our collective vision of living according to the Quran and Sunnah. You have a place at MAPS. We assure you that we'll do our best to represent this diversity. In addition, board represents young and old, man and woman alike. At MAPS, we value each and every one as a human being. We empower our youth to host their own programs. Tonight, we have a program organized by the youth where a counselor is talking to them on mental health. We respect our elderly. On November 14th, we'll have our Golden Times event where we bring in our elderly to socialize and do activities together. Likewise, our women lead many activities at MAPS. We will always endeavor to make MAPS a place where our women feel that they can achieve their full potential, where they have an equal voice, where they are respected for who they are. They must be treated equal in all aspects, as this is the core to our vision at MAPS. Alhamdulillah, since inception of MAPS, our women have been front and center of framing our organization to take it forward. Because of the diversity I explained above, not all the decisions that we as a board make will be satisfactory to everybody in the community. Invariably, we'll frustrate some people. I request you to give us the benefit of doubt before prejudging us. Ask questions about your concerns, and we'll try to explain our rationale honestly and truthfully, as we are doing all of this to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He alone. You may not agree with it, but we need you to respect the decision and respect the process used to arrive at the decision. As a community, we may disagree, but we need to remain united. Only then will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's barakas will descend on us. Let me give you a simple example of what I'm talking about. You might have noticed that we purchased 2 vans for MAPS. It's written on the side of the vans, our organization's name. One of the reasons we purchased these vans is to shuttle the youth to their activities, to bring the youth together so they can bond with each other. Let me tell you the type of reaction that we sometimes get for making such a decision. Somebody would write to us a fiery email, something along the lines, "The board should be ashamed. How dare you use our donations to buy 2 vans and put teenagers in them? Don't you know that the second killer of the kids in this country is road accidents? You are endangering our children." This is again an example where only one person on the board and BOT makes all decisions at MAPS. Allah will ask you about this. So we get this complaint. What the complainer in this case does realize, here is that the board may have comprehensively looked at the reasons for buying the MAPS. They do not have the complete picture. For example, we have been looking at buying these vans for more than 1 year now. A community member donated half of the money. It costs us only $4,000 to purchase the 2 vans. A committed community member and a volunteer will maintain them. We are hiring an approved licensed and insured driver. The driver will undergo training with a taxi service company. The vans will be used to shuttle the elderly to the masjid for Jummah, to help with our Golden Times program, to transfer furniture for refugees, to help with funeral transport, and not only to shuttle the youth. Many times, community members do not see this whole picture and they jump on criticizing the decisions. My humble request here is this: if you question a board decision, reach out, ask questions, and consider the broader context of achieving our vision before jumping to conclusions. There are many examples like this. I don't want to go through in this short time. In many cases, the dissenting voice is the minority voice. The vast majority of the community may support the decisions made. Regarding the vans, for example, 220 people like our idea of the vans on the Facebook. We have received many supportive mails. One brother who moved to Philadelphia has this to say, quote, "Assalamu alaikum. Wow, may Allah bless. I'm in a city where those that say they are Muslim can outbuy anyone at a dime per Muslim. But there is nothing like MAPS in Philadelphia. I miss home because I miss the community of Muslims. May Allah accept our brother who contributed to this and increase his wealth multifold, and all those who volunteer for MAPS. Just because one person, one idea, or a few people vehemently disagree with a decision does not make the person right or decision bad. Just before the election, a person who wasn't happy with some other decision, some of our program, used a fake email ID and sent harassing emails to the board. The person claimed to be a community member, but he was not on our mailing list, not on our donor list, not on our Facebook, and not on our membership list. Imam Joban and I invited him, the person, to come and talk to us in person so that we can understand his concern. He, of course, refused. It's a pure cowardice to hide behind a fake identity and to harass the board. Similarly, it is not helpful for small groups to oppose the masjid in private. Let it be known we will not let this harassment or strong language sway us. In conclusion, I want to remind you all that we have only started our journey. We have placed a tremendous trust in the past few years, and you have again placed your trust in us for the next 2 years. We will endeavor day and night to fulfill the trust while abiding by the bylaws, while keeping MAPS on its growth trajectory, while remaining open and welcoming to all in our community following the Quran and Sunnah. Please remember us in your du'as and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us and to help us in executing on your trust. And please forgive us for our mistakes that we have committed and the mistakes we may commit in future. Our intention is very clear. We are here to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to honor your trust and fulfill the vision of MAPS. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you for your attention. With now I would request Sister Irma, who has joined the board again after a break, to say a few words.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Irma Hana. I am holding as a Women's Affairs Director. So I started as a volunteer since long time ago. At that time, I was on the management as a banker. But then to me, doing volunteer, it has a different kind of sincerity. It has a different kind of satisfaction. So I started as, I think at that time was like the very first year I had MAPS, and then I help out anything. I help out serve the food, I help out selling the tickets, whatever it takes. It seems to me that it's just that I have to be involved with this kind of noble cause. So then it's like a career itself. And then the next time, then I got more involved with SIRA, with a bigger project. And then I go also to the different organization, MAS, as a Youth Quest Leadership Director. And then I also joined the making of ICOB. And then here I am here as a MAPS board member. I have experience as MAPS board member for 4 years, and then I'm taking a break for 1 year, and then I'm joined back to MAPS. So what I like, what I have in mind, what I'm going to do these 2 years, that MAPS has been, I think it needs to go to the higher level, is like few months ago, there is one of the leader in Samamis, I think it was the mayor, that he is going to be sitting on the like a state candidate. So he went to Samamis residents to talk about what we're, they want to know what the residents think about him. So then what I was telling him is, we're talking about religion, and as a Muslim, so I tell him, see, a Muslim has been trying so much to show that we're doing so many good things. So why don't you, from the city, for example, like on Christmas, the city will put on the street Merry Christmas, or even on Hanukkah. So why don't you put that on the city on Eid or Ramadan, Happy Ramadan or Happy Eid, because we are part of your city. So if it's come from the city, it will make the rest of the community feel more confidence with us, and it will give us confidence to go out more with the population. You know, instead of just us, why don't you the city also reaching out to us? So, story short, he is giving me like a substitute what he can do. The point is he has no guts to do it. So then it just make me think. So then, you know, if I should go back to maps, inshallah, you know, like, and then here I am, and I like us to work more with the city. You know, like for example, there's a benefit that I was on the board, like I was creating a food festival. So the next time maybe I should go with the city and then make a huge food festival like the one in California at Marimore Park that is open for everybody. So then the impact is greater. It's not just exclusively for us. Or maybe we should do something, for example, like for Susan J. Komen. It's famous for a woman. Everybody knows Susan J. Komen. So that's what I like. That's what inspired me to do for this term on my time, because it seems like we just have to work harder, because not every representatives are willing to do what it's supposed to do fairly for any religion. So that's a little bit of me.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, As-salatu was-salam ala Rasulil Kareem, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. After mashallah, beautiful speech by Brother Khadir, it's very hard to find out what should, you know, like I talk about. He covered everything. So first of all, this position actually is not something like, you know, I think we cherish, because in the fullness of time, it can go either way. It can be in your very good scales, or it can, you know, work other way around. So as Brother Khadir said, that please pray for us, make du'as, and also support us. You need to make sure that if we are not doing the right thing, we are not our approach is not good, please correct us. So this is one thing, you know, you can inshallah help. And couple of points briefly I would mention that alhamdulillah, this vision you see and the cornerstone, we have put together structure, and then things have started to move, right? But I believe that going forward, to fully benefit from it, to fully leverage it, that is going to require that people enablement and people empowerment. What do I mean by that? That means that each of you sitting here, you should ask yourself that what activity, what project, you know, I like to do and am I part of? How much of my daily time or weekly hours I am spending on something, like, you know, for a higher objective. There's something, you know, like when we say that inbound good, what do we learn? So I happened to visit this Day of Caring last month, and these guys took us to a park in Seattle, and there was this garden. They asked us to, you know, like fix it, remove the weeds and all that. But the best thing I really liked about it, and I really learned from these people's commitment, that they are working in their professional field, they are in the medical field. One lady actually, she happens to work in Seattle's Children's Hospital. But every week she spent 4 hours a day. This is how she has got her work schedule fixed, that she would spend 4 hours a day in that garden maintaining it. Right? She has taken this small area, and this is how they have subdivided this huge garden. And then they are they feel accountable. They feel they want to make sure that this is taking care of nature, right? So we have our committee, nature outreach, nature and outdoor committee, right? So these are few people who came and they started it, and they are doing it. But the thing is that last activity they did, and they were supposed to clean a part of Mount Rainier. So 30 people signed up, and then one day before, many people said that they could not make it, and only 5 people ended up making it, right? So I feel Muslims as a whole, we are missing that commitment to what, at least all of us, mashallah, are very knowledgeable, educated people. And even if you're not, if you're really passionate about it, you will find a way to make a difference. So that is something I think in order to really be successful in the future, inshallah, we all should make sure that we enable people, from the board point of view, we empower them, we provide them guideline. For example, last night one brother, Dr. Khalid, came and he has a beautiful idea. He mentioned that, we go and we help these people who come and who are sometimes, having some difficult times, who are jobless. We help them and then they go. But the thing is that what we are not doing a good job, for example, one example was he was giving that one brother ended up losing his car. And now he's trying to come back to his work because he doesn't have a car, he doesn't have a transportation. Had he approached us before, we would have at least, extended his lease of the car or whatever. So, finding a way that how do we get them back into the job market. If they need a skills, computer skills, we train them and then, sort of build that. Right? This would be long-lasting rather than just, writing a check, one time and then letting them go. So, putting that program into place, putting a committee into place, people who have computer skills and they can train these guys for better jobs. Job market is out there. Jobs are out there. All we need is need to prepare them, right? Then very close-minded and insight. So these are the things, inshallah ta'ala, I would say that going forward, really to take it to the next level, we will have to work on that.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So Brother Mahmoud was asking me to speak a little bit about what it takes to be on the board. And I was thinking what to talk about. And just today, the insurance company called. So the insurance company called because it's time to renew our insurance. And I just want to talk about two parts to what it means to serve on the board, a tactical part and a strategy part. From a tactical part, and Brother Mahmoud mentioned that we need to roll up our sleeves and do the work. So what does it take? For example, just a day like today on a Friday, the insurance company call and say, we need to renew the insurance. The insurance for a place like MAPS that has hundreds of kids coming and going in every day, which has maybe a safety mechanism, a safety procedures, but not necessarily 100% at the level that we want it to be. A place that has all people, all ages, doors open, a place that has a gym, a place that has full-time employees, part-time staff, volunteers. The insurance for this place is a big, thick bundle like this, right? So what does it mean to serve on a board? It means you have to go through those papers. You have to understand. And I'll tell you the kind of question they were asking me, right? And let me see if you guys can know. So the first question is, and Brother Mahmoud, he decided to buy 2 vans. Very easy, right? You should see what it takes to get the insurance on those vans. So the question is, do we have a safety checklist that the driver will check every time they onboard people? So how many of you know? Okay, I need a volunteer to put it together. All right, second question. Do we have a harassment policy at MAPS for our staff or our part-time employees? Anybody knows? Harassment policy. Yes. A few years ago, we spent quite some time to work with a law firm to put the harassment policy in place. All of these are things that we don't see, that people don't see, that happens at the back. The third question, and let's see how many people know this. We have a women's gym. Do we have dumbbells and barbells in the women's gym? Do we have weights? Apparently, the insurance premium goes up if we have weights. So serving on the board is not necessarily like Brother Mahmoud is saying, an entitlement. It is to be able to answer those questions. It is to be able to work with all those parties who serve the masjid. It is to be able to understand the needs of this masjid and really dedicate time, devote time, figure out those issues. If they are not there, put those in place, right, to serve on the board. So, and I think what Brother Mahmoud said, for people who are interested in serving the community, volunteering is probably the really good path to ultimately get on the board. So that's on the tactical side, just as an example. On the strategy side, right, I mean, what do? What kind of things that we knew, how are we taking the organization forward? For me, one thing is we represent a very large community. right? 5,000 families with all the elements of diversity, like Brother Mahmoud said. So oftentimes, we need to put our own biases, our own inclinations, our own ideas on the side, and think what is best for the community, right? What is best for a community that is as diverse as they are? Sometimes it requires us to have the discipline of mind to even overrule our own inclinations inside. Now, why is that important? Why is that extremely important? See, we have around 500 people who come for Salatul Jummah, but we have 4,000 people who come for Eid. Just by a regular, like, plain math here, so we probably have 1,000 to 2,000 people in the community who comes to the masjid only once in a year, right? And yet, they are Muslims, they are our friends, they are our neighbors, they are our family, and we represent them too, right? If we take decisions that alienate them, that don't represent them, we're effectively pushing them out of the community altogether. Right? There are a few statistics that are very eye-opening. One statistics is, there are, and this is from Pew Research, 23% of Muslims who will grow up, and Muslims who will grow up in the deen, will end up leaving the deen, will end up leaving Islam. 23%, right? 47% of Muslim kids in college, 47% drink alcohol. 19% of kids, right, in college, they binge on alcohol, right? About 28% of Muslim kids suffer a level of anger. They cannot absorb all of those issues. They cannot resolve in their mind all of the negative news, and their institutions don't provide them an avenue, a channel for them to even be able to reconcile those ideas about their religion, about the identity in their mind. So serving on the board means to also have an idea of those people, of the broader community, right? Because our kids who grow up will also be subject to the same problems and same issues. So from a strategy point of view, keeping the very comprehensive vision that we've put together that you see at the back, keeping a well-balanced approach, keeping both a spiritually strong footprint as well as a very visible and active social footprint is extremely core. And I think, you will see us, inshallah, building on what we have done in the past few years to really strengthen on that. Okay?
Thank you very much for all of you. Jazakumullah khair for your attention, and I think feel free to come forward to provide your ideas, and you will inshallah find us very receptive, lining up with our vision, and together in this day and age we can set an institution which our kids can flourish, and then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us. All of you who are present here, please make du'as for the whole community here, as well as the people who are in the board, people who are present here, people who have. I'll ask Sheikh Juban to close with a dua, Sheikh. We, after this.
Make dua inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless of us and support them inshallah, and work with the ikhlas and tawfiq inshallah. Alhamdulillah hamdan yafi ni'amuka fi mazid ya rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika wa adhimi sultanik. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma waffiqna lima tardah. Allahumma thabbit aqdamana. Allahumma hina ala al-islam wa sunnah wa tawaffana ala al-imani wa tawbah. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adhaban nar. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik. Wa sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
There are a lot of volunteering opportunities. There's always more work to be done at the MAPS. On the other side, you also mentioned you're helping a lot of families get up on speed if they need help settling in. Have you done or have you considered making asking some kind of commitment to those families who MAPS helps to put in like 100 hours of volunteer time in return, or 50 hours, or whatever pro rata? Is there something on the table? Have you considered that?
So it's like most of the time when these guys are coming in, they are really in a very bad phase in life, right? At that time, like negotiating that may not be the right thing. So that's why this idea is about like putting together a committee, like sort of, who thinks through that, and maybe that could be a part of it, right? But at that time, all they need is the help or pay the rent or what. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Any other question?
So it's not really a question. I just want to thank Brother Mahmoud and all the panel, and I thank you so much for your kind words. And definitely, I will work closely with you, and I will support you. We are all working for Allah, and this beautiful, maps organization, and it's really a huge thing, and I totally support it for all the brothers who work for it. And I will pledge to do as much as I can to even get more support. So I think we are all in this, and I really appreciate the opportunity and all the kind words, and thank you so much. Jazakumullah khairan.
You can email questions as well, so we can address it later. We'll have after we meet with the new people and decide the different portfolios, we'll have another town hall meeting soon, which we can address with a wider community. Thank you very much.